y'all watching, because y'all chilling here with me. And I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. I hope you guys had a fantabulous week. Fantastic, excellent. You can't even put into words how great it was. And now y'all chilling here with me to make it even better, okay? I'm trying to figure out if I want to whisper or kind of talk like this, but I don't know. Whisper, 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 or talk. I don't know. I think this will be better for me. Okay, right here. So today I went to Papa John's and I decided to get me a barbecue chicken pizza. My brother put me on the barbecue chicken. If you ever go to Papa John's, I don't know how other pizza chains do their barbecue pizza, but I know Papa John's barbecue pizza is banging, smashing, delectable, everything you can imagine. So what comes on this is, of course, barbecue, chicken, and onions, and cheese. So let's get into, oh yeah. You know, you get the pepper. So let's go ahead and I should have did that. I got cuts on this hand, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna open this dipping sauce. What I love, let me not waste that. What I love about Papa John's, they always come with their signature garlic dipping sauce. Now, mind you, this pizza was sitting for a little minute because I did just get off of work. So, you know, after that, I always have to build my appetite up a little bit. But let's go ahead. Oh, that little dip on there like that. Demolished. That was real good. If you couldn't tell by this, that was a 10 out of 10. Let me get another slice. Alright. And this what it's looking like, y'all. Alright. yourself doing this? Or do you just like eat it wide open? Usually when I get pizza, my first choice is usually always Pizza Hut or Domino's, because they usually have the better deals, especially Domino's. But Papa John's is a really good pizza chain, like popular pizza chain. So when I do have it, it's always delicious. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've just had bad Papa John's, and that's the truth. But I've ate a little bit. Let's talk a little bit. Story time. Y'all, yesterday I almost burnt my house down. I almost burnt the house down, okay? So, yesterday I had a real eventful day. I ran some errands that needed to get done. I got my tags. Oh, yeah. Fun fact about tags: when you put them down, when you put them on your car, I've always done this. Take like a knife or something and just like slice your tags, because so that nobody steals your tags off your car, especially if you stay like in a bad area. But this happens in good areas too. And yeah, slice your tags. Cut them up into little pieces after you put them on your car, like after you put them on your plate. But yeah, and then I washed my car, so it was just a car day yesterday. Detailed it, all that good stuff. And then after that, I went to the grocery store, Aldi to be specific, because I love Aldi's. You can get a lot of different things there for a good price. Usually when I go to the grocery store, it's Aldi or Kroger, sir. I don't know, Kroger. Because you get a lot of good deals at Kroger too. But anyway, y'all know that Aldi doesn't really have like grocery bags. I think they have them, the plastic bags, but you gotta like pay for them, I think. But I don't usually deal with that. I just get the box. They always have cardboard boxes on the walls that you can put your groceries in. So that's what I did. And I come home, and as I'm putting groceries in the house, because they're in cardboard boxes, I put one box on the stove. And somehow I turned the eye on when I put the cardboard box down on the stove. And then I leave, but like 5 minutes later I smell something like in the vents. I'm like, bruh, it smells like something burning. It's something burning. So I asked the question. I'm like something's burning. So I don't know what's going on. At first I think it's outside because I am next to a window. Then I'm like, nah, it ain't outside, it's in this house. So I run into the kitchen. As soon as I open the kitchen door, it's smoke everywhere. I immediately get the box off the stove because I see that's where the smoke is coming from, and then smoke goes everywhere. I'm talking everywhere. I take the box, and then pieces of the burnt box come off, and like they're torched with like, what's that stuff like, with fire. It has fire on the cardboard, you know, but not fire like when you see lava. If you ever seen lava, like the orange stuff, that's what it's looking like. But that's fine because the kitchen floors are tile, so they're okay. It went on the floor, and I run outside to my grandma. I'm like, cause she's talking with a neighbor. I'm like, grandma, the security people are gonna call you in a minute, and just give them the security code and tell them it's not a real fire, it's just smoke. Because at this, it wasn't fire, it was just smoke. Now if I didn't run in there, it would have been fire, like fire. Them little lava sparks or whatever would have been fire. But I came in there on time, and sure enough, like a second later, they called grandma, and thankfully they put the house on do not disturb or whatever you do, so the fire department wouldn't come. And thankfully, the only thing in the box that was torn up was the rice. It was the rice that had burnt. Everything else was fine. But for a second, I had like a mini heart attack. I was like, oh my gosh, I just set the house on fire. But it was just smoke. And I cleaned up all the rice. And all the other groceries in the box were fine. My fruits were fine. Bananas, it was bananas. Thankfully, they come in a peel, you know. The coffee was okay. The creamer was good. It was just the rice. So that was like, but it's okay, because rice is one of the cheapest things you could get, so I could get some more rice easily. What was that? But thankfully, I didn't burn the house down. Now, after that happened, I was like, man, you see how things can happen so quickly. Like, I didn't even know I turned the eye on, and I accidentally did it, and I almost set the house on fire. But and then my dog DOG, he was in the kitchen. Okay, he was in there, and I'm like, come here, DOG. I'm trying to get him out the kitchen. He gonna run into his crate. Like, I know this, you're a safe space, but you gotta come. And then when I opened the garage for the to let the smoke finally clear out the house, hopefully, like the windows, the garage, the doors, then he finally comes out the crate trying to see what I'm doing. Like, he was supposed to come out when the smoke started happening, but you know, a crate is a dog safe space. I would, if something popped off for real, I would have just had to reach in there and grab him, cause I'm getting my dog out this house. Like, my dog is number one, and my grandma, but she was already outside, you know. But yeah, I just say thank you, Lord. You know, I see how you doing, like being careless, not thinking before you act. Like, you can, anything can change in a blink, you know. So just gotta be attentive. Gotta pay attention to what you're doing. And I was so focused on getting those groceries in, yeah. But yeah, that was my excitement for the week. My grandma was so mad at me, y'all. She was like, I don't understand how you are this dumb. She was like, I don't understand how you're this dumb. Like, what is wrong with you? And really, like, my grandma got a potty mouth, so that was her being nice, cause my grandma got a mouth worse than a sailor. I'm telling y'all. But after like 2 hours, she calmed down, and we were able to laugh about it. So now she was like, don't even talk to me. You almost burned my house down. And I understand. But we good now. Like, we laughed about it before we went to bed, because you never want to go to bed on a bad note. Let's get another slice. Let me get some water. I forgot my water, so I have to get some water. Water times 3. Drinker water is good for you. It might not taste the best sometimes, but it's good for you. You need it to live. As a kid, I used to hate water. I hated it. But now that I'm older, I love it. Water is best like after you've done some work and it's ice cold and you're hot as I don't know what. That's when it tastes the best, because you can't even taste the cold. When I'm normal like this, I prefer room temperature water, because it just, I don't know, it's so cold to drink ice cold water. And then me drinking ice cold water, if I chug a whole bottle of ice cold water while my body's like at a regular temperature, I get sick. But if I chug room temperature water, like right now, I feel fine. If I chug room temperature water when my body's hot, I get sick. But if I chug cold water while I'm hot, I feel great. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. That was just random. That was random. A fun fact. If I would have burned the house down, that would have been the second house fire I've ever been in. But I didn't. So I've still only just been in one house fire. When I was 10, my childhood home, my dad's house burnt down. And let me tell y'all, that was an experience. I don't really look at it as traumatic. I look at it as being more cautious. Like to this day, it was an electrical fire that started it. I'll never forget where we were getting ready to go to school. It was a weekday, and I had just finished my breakfast, and my stepmom was like, "Hey, everybody, come on, let's get on ready to go, because we're about to leave." And then I hear my stepsister upstairs just go like, "Fire, fire!" And my dad, at the time, was a fireman, so he immediately like got everybody together to get on out the house. But I don't really know what happened after that. But I just know I was across the street. Like, I was the first one out the house. I was 10 years old. I wasn't staying in the house. Like, I had my whole life to live, y'all. I was gone. Everybody else was trying to put the fire out. Like, but I was across the street. Let me tell y'all, I was on the other side of the sidewalk. My dad and my stepmom were in there. They was trying to do it, but it was so bad. Like, the house, like half the house burned. But it was like, dang. So now I'm just very weary of fires, of like what can happen. So like to this day, I make sure I don't have too much stuff like plugged up, because there was like an electrical fire. Like it was too much stuff plugged up upstairs. That's why it started. And so I just make sure like 3 things plugged up at once. And even then, you know, because you never know when something's gonna like short circuit. And I always tell my grandma now, I'm like, grandma, you got this plugged up. Like, just be careful. But yeah, I feel like maybe, yeah, that was traumatic. But like I said, I was 10 years old, so I didn't know the weight of the situation. I didn't, like, at the time I was staying with my dad, but I guess like that did change a lot. But as a 10-year-old, I didn't see how bad like it affected like everything. But yeah, I got real close with my dad during that time, like from the ages of 10 and up, because before that I spent most of my time with my grandma, because my dad was a fireman, so I was primarily in my grandma's care. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see some more stories. I don't know. Traumatic experiences. I don't really think I have a lot, but I don't know if those are good to talk about. Like, the fire things are fine to talk about, because to me they're important, but they're not like, you know, nah, I don't know. Like, the other ones are kind of like, they're a little gory. Not gory, they're a little, let's see. I always like to tell y'all stories, like to keep y'all engaged, but I'm pretty boring. Like, for real, I'm pretty boring. My favorite ice cream is vanilla, you know what I'm talking about. So if you can't tell, I've gotten full. That's why I'm talking. Nah, that's too sad. Nah. As a kid, this isn't a sad, it's a happy story. Just like as a kid, speaking of like pizza and stuff, I've always loved pizza. If I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life, it'll probably be pizza, because I feel like you could change it up so much. And like you could get a vegetable pizza for like the day and only eat like the vegetables off of it to get your vegetables, or you could do a meats pizza or something. You could just change it up a lot. You could do a New York style pizza, a traditional like Italian pizza, a Chicago deep dish pizza. It's so many different things. But I've always loved pizza. When I was a kid, I feel like for 5 consecutive years I always went to like a pizza chain / party place for my birthday parties. And at first, as a little kid, it was always Chuck E. Cheese. And my dad, when I was really little, he like got me like a real big Chuck E. Cheese doll. It was like this big. Like, it was taller than me as a kid. That's how big it was. And I love that. Chuck E. Cheese. Big old rat. I loved it. I don't know what happened to it. I believe it's in storage somewhere. But then after I grew past Chuck E. Cheese, my party started to transition to Incredible Pizza. And if you guys know what Incredible Pizza was, y'all know Incredible Pizza used to be so lit. I'm talking about, it was like triple the size of Chuck E. Cheese. You walk in, like a whole buffet everywhere. Like, that Chuck E. Cheese had, Incredible Pizza had, but more. Okay, so you'd have, it was like 10 party rooms. You'd have like the game room where like usually the men, I ain't gonna, cause you know, for like party places, we gonna be real. Most of the times the moms was getting the kids together, and the dads, after they did what they did, they wouldn't watch the games. Like they had like 20 flat screen TVs and like the football like game, like baseball, all that room where you could drink like alcoholic drinks and all that stuff. So that's where most of the men would go after, like while the kids and stuff were eating the pizza. And then we'd have, what else did they have? They have like the dessert area with like all types of pies and ice cream and stuff. And then but the main attraction was the game room. And my grandma, there was this pulley machine. Dave and Buster's has them too, where it's like a wheel and you pull the lever and the wheel spins to get you tokens. I'm talking about my grandma would stay there the whole time to win me all the tickets she could win, because my grandma loves the casino. So while she was there, that's what she was doing, like winning me tickets to pay for it, to buy me something cool at the end. So then after all the kids had eaten and stuff, this is when like the moms or the women would finally get a break from all the kids, because now it was dad's turn. Like all the dads and the men, they have to come get the kids, and now we in the game, like the game room. And Incredible Pizza had like the motorcycles that you ride, like you go side to side on them. You have the I don't know what it's called, but like the little brown ball that you throw up and it go into a hole. Like all types of games, all types. And then like a couple years later, they got go-kart machines, they had bumper cars, and then they even added laser tag to it. So like you can still go now, like as a young adult in it, or as adult. Like I'm just saying, it was a birthday spot for like when I was a kid, but it was so much fun stuff. And for us, we used to only have Chuck E. Cheese and putt-putt, and putt-putt is so expensive, y'all. but Incredible Pizza was like a more affordable putt-putt, and a cooler Chuck E. Cheese at the time. I haven't been in a while, so I don't know what they hitting on today. But back then, man, Incredible Pizza used to be that place. And then, so really, it was really just like Dave and Buster's before we even got Dave and Buster's for real. Because I didn't go to Dave and Buster's till I was in Texas. I didn't know what Dave and Buster's was. And you know, everything's bigger in Texas. So the one out there is huge. So much fun stuff to do. And they have like the racetrack where you can race the go-karts. But they brought one here to Memphis and it's smaller. I'd rather go to Incredible Pizza than go to Dave and Buster's out here. So but yeah, talking about that was fun. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do one more slice of pizza and we're gonna call it a day. guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys had a great week, and leading into this next week, you have an even better week. So yeah, if anything bad or good happened, wait. If you guys had a bad week, it's okay. You get another chance next week to make it even better, and it will be better because I said so. And if you had a good week, your week's gonna be great next week because I said so. And I'm getting a little delirious, like I'm getting a little tired, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and rock it. So I love you. Peace out.